when you got out the first time, you went and tried to do some legit shit. You went and got a job at a telephone company.
I went back to the phone company, and somebody snuck me in to get the job at the phone company.
Because you had a felony.
Because I had the felonies. Yeah. And I didn't check the application. I just said, if ever convicted, I said no. So these people that was managers, they snuck me back in there because, when I was working there before, my work is, A-League.
So you had been working there prior? You had a
way
job?
Back.
Like when?
Back. Before I went to jail on the state joint. Remember when I said I stopped getting high and everything?
Right.
I went and got me a job. Oh. So I was working for the phone company on 3rd Avenue.
You was really trying to straighten up.
I was trying. But
trying to square up.
So even when I came home, all the dudes was like, yo, all right, go back to the stick-up days when I came home. Everybody quit their jobs. So niggas was like, he said, our homie home now, we quit. So they was quit. I said, yo, I said, why you quit your jobs? They said, we know you ain't been in jail 4 years and you ain't come up with a plan for us. So we started doing our thing again. But when I had to do this 21, these niggas told about the same shit. I said, man, listen, ho. I'm not doing nothing wrong. But the whole thing, when I was working, I tried to get back in the phone company after the stick-up days. And, they got me in. I was working for about 3-4 weeks on 375 Pearl Street. So I was a telephone representative. So what happened, right? The PO really jammed me up because these niggas be wanting you to call them all the time. Mm-hmm. So, but I jammed myself up too because instead of turning the phone off on my desk and going to the hangout room where you could make your own phone calls there, I called it from my desk. And this supervisor didn't like me. He because I never said nothing to him. All his people would want to come and ask me for help because I knew the business because I was working for them before. So he found out that I was talking to PO. So I guess he did his homework. So he goes to the upper brass, and I'm sitting at my desk chilling, and I see these 4 security guards coming. They armed, in the phone company, they strapped. So they coming.
Sent the goons?
Yeah, they sent the goons. But I'm looking like, it's 300-something people on my floor. So I was like, damn, I wonder who they coming to get. They're coming to get me. So when they came to get me, they pulled me in the back, and they got all these white people sitting at the desk, and they was like, yo, you know why you here? I said, no. They said, is this your application? I said, yeah. They said, well, you checked off that you never been convicted. I said, yeah, I did. He said, why did you do that? I said, because if I did, you wouldn't have gave me the job. Simple stuff.
Right.
So they said, well, we don't like liars. And stuff like that. So they was like, yo,
which is code for we like to keep the system in line and keep disenfranchising people so to perpetuate the status quo. But go ahead.
So they said, we want you to resign. So I'm not resigning, you gotta fire me. So then my manager, she came in the room and they said, Miss Holman, did you know that this guy lied on his application? She said no, because she didn't know. The one that got me in was my old boss. So she was like, no, I didn't. He said, but can we do anything? He's top of the line with his work. So she said, I never seen nobody this smart with what he's doing for people still struggling after 10 years of this shit. That's the number one stress job too, telephone representative. A lot of people get heart attacks over that job because you got to constantly answer the phone, be on the phone with customers and going through all this shit. And then I was selling the custom calling services at that time, call waiting, 3-way calling. So it's a stressful job. So anyway, she says, nothing we could do? She said, no. She said, no, we don't like liars.
I wish you'd have started your own company, I swear.
I wish I had the money to do it at the time. I would have did it. But then they told me, well, if you tell us, who told you, who got you back in here? I said, I don't know. I said, I don't know. I just got in here. He said, well, if you tell us who got you in here, we might do something to let you keep your job. I said, I don't know. I said, so they end up firing me.
Man, you're obviously not familiar with my cloth, lady.
So they walk up they always try to get you to tell. So they walk me out the building, and you have an ID card they have to take. It's like they break the card so you can't come back in the building no more. Because that 375 Pearl Street is like a highly secured phone company place. It's down there near Chinatown.
Mm-hmm.
So I lost that job. And when I when I first came home, D made sure I had a car and stuff. So when I drive the Cherokee Limited on the highway to go home, I really contemplating driving off that bridge because I was like, yo, this is crazy, man. I tried to do the right thing, and I still can't win. So when I got home, my mother already got the word because the lady that got me the job called the people, and they called the PO, and the PO called, they talked my mother, and my mother's crying. I was like, yo. She said, Peter, I heard what happened. I said, don't start. I'm never working again in my life. That's what I told her, and I never did. Then the PO was like, Miss Smallwood, I think her name was. She said, well, Peter, don't worry. Keep your head up. We're going to get you another job. I said, Miss Smallwood, no disrespect. You can have me coming there every day. I'm never working again.
Never going to subject myself to someone's
whim
again.
And then that's when I had to get my crew and say, all right, I'm in. Let's do something.
And that's when the drugs started.
That's when the drug game started.
So what was your first foray into the drug business? How did you get that initial start? How did that come about?
Well, Big D gave me a present, and I thought it was a gun. You know what I'm saying? I didn't open it. But I did smell some weird shit coming out. But I didn't think about nothing. So when I finally opened up, it was some coke. And he was telling me,
What did he give you?
a key just to get started. Yeah, so I get.
What was the price of a brick then?
Oh man, I guess anywhere from 16 to 20.
I think it was about 16
something like that.
then.
But but I ended up getting a connect, and I was giving up the keys for us for 10,000, and everybody else I was just charging them, whatever, how close they was to me. As close as you was to me would be a cheaper price.
So, so when you got it, like you hadn't been
I never
you've
did
been
the
a drug
crack.
user.
I
You had
never did the
been
crack. So
right,
he tried to tell me over the phone how to cook it. I'm thinking, yeah, this shit. It says easy. Yeah, you know how it is. Yeah. It's easy for him. I cooked and fucked the whole shit up.
First of all, wait a minute, homie.
I messed the whole shit up.
You attempted your first time to cook an entire brick.
Up. And the whole
that
thing
right there was a
and you know what happened?
red
He said
flag
it's so
that you
easy.
do it.
He said so easy. I never cooked no coke. So what happened, right? I barely got the money back it cost, so at least I got that back. But after that, then I had to get me a cook.
Right.
So once I got a cook, then I started, doing shit. But I didn't like selling crack, so I changed it up to where we just sell.
Why didn't you like selling crack, Pete? Why didn't you like it?
Because, I seen all the crackheads and what was going on out there, and I was like, damn, I don't want to be a part of that. But what I did sell is the coke. They cook it, that's on them. So I was trying to sell vows, and which is I was killing them out in Baltimore, me and Nice, but we selling vows and doing it like that. But I didn't like the coke. And then I was really never on the street. I started selling keys of heroin, keys of coke, And then even it's a funny thing because when I'm in jail, niggas be like, everybody's a big drug dealer in jail in the feds, so they be having these conversations and they'll tell you how they was doing this and doing that. So I'll be laughing, looking at them laughing in my mind. So I'll test them. And I'll be like, yo, you selling heroin? Yeah, man, I was getting a bit China white, all this shit. I said, all right. So how many grams is in a key of heroin? And that's where I messed them up at. You know what I'm saying? Because they think it's 1,000 grams and it wasn't. But people used to come around me, I guess, because they thought I was somebody in the past. They was trying to be uplifted with me. But you can't be be yourself. You can't be I guess a Ice, a Big D, a Peanut King from Baltimore. You can't be those. You can't be them type of dudes, man. If you was never there like that, Billy Guy, you can't be them type of dudes. These dudes is real dudes, so just be yourself. I would never try to be that. I would never answer a question like, who got more money, me or somebody else? How the hell I would know that?
That's right.
Am I going to knock on the door? Yo, how much you get today?
Right.
I mean, these dudes with these questions is retarded. So
That's because they don't have a clue. That's why I'm here.
They just be wanting to talk to somebody.
Not one of them.
No, but they just want to talk to somebody. They'll come to you and ask you some crazy shit. Who you think killed more people, you or this guy? And like you gonna go, oh well, let me call him. Hey yo, how many bodies you get? Oh yeah, I got about 15 now. I mean, come on, man, what's wrong with these people out here? So
I tell you, all they want is entertainment. They don't care if they are compromising you or whatever. They don't care, but it's entertainment to them. I don't even think for a lot of these people, I don't think they believe a thing that we say, to be honest with you. They can, a lot of these people, a lot of the people who consume this kind of content, a lot of people who spend their time on the internet listening to other people talk about their life experiences don't actually have a real perspective on life. They've gone to school, gone to church, gone to work. That's been their entire life, and there's nothing wrong with that. But they like to interject themselves into conversations like this, normally through the comment box, and talk about what could possibly be and what couldn't possibly be. And it's like, you basing that on what? That 9 to 5 you've been working all your life, that your daddy been working all his life, your mom been working all their life, on the movies. You do know that movies are based on legend and not truth, right? Like, it's interesting, man. But that is the majority of the people that this kind of content, reaches.
You can't talk about jail. You ain't never been in jail. These people talk about, these people put these movies up about jail, and none of that shit go on no more. That booty stuff, none of that goes on no more. That was before my time, really, the 60s and whatever. But these dudes that they say getting raped and stuff like that, nah, they ain't getting raped.
They ain't getting raped.
They're
participating in homosexual activity.
And most of them want that, so that's what they're getting. So you can't make these movies and put the fabrication in there to try to scare people from going to jail, because none of that shit's happening.
Well, I don't think it's to scare people. I think it's just unimaginative trope is what they call it.
Yeah,
it's
but
like just doing things that have become a standard within movies and shit like that. If you don't do it, people like I'm saying, like, most people haven't had this experience, right? So the majority of the people who are, talking about this stuff aren't part of the activity. So the majority of them, being the majority of them, whatever they say, because it's so many of them, there's way more of them than there are of us, that becomes the standard. That's what people believe is true, because that's what they're hearing the most. And most of that comes from people misunderstanding what they're hearing from people who have lived a life, and watching a lot of movies and listening to rap records and getting a bunch of lies and bullshit.
But the most scary thing you should be worried about jail is being away from your family.
That's right.
Doing all that time. But
how about this? How about having to ask another man, can I go to the bathroom? How about imagine the sickest you've ever been, right? The sickest you've ever been, right? And in your home, in your bed, and how uncomfortable you were. Now imagine that same condition, but you in the Shue. Now you're on a concrete slab and a mattress that's as thin as a Band-Aid, and it's cold because you up in the mountains.
And you hungry.
And nobody gives a damn. Ain't nobody bringing you no tea, ain't nobody rubbing your head, and doing none of that.
You should think about, though? Suppose them guards just left the jail and left you in their shoes.
That's right.
And don't
something
never come
happened.
back. No, they just don't. Yeah, something in the world happened.
Yes.
They just don't come back. You
That's
dead.
right.
I used to look at, how can I get out this cell?
Bro,
I used to be looking at it like that.
Bro, when that 2K thing kicked in, and that was big, right? They were, the world's gonna shut down, all that, whatever. Like, when that kicked in, I was like, yo, so what's gonna happen? Even more in something in a more immediate context or more recent context. When that COVID thing kicked in, man, please. Big Kaz was like, I'm not going in there.
Well,
I'm not going in there. And that meant nobody's going to work. That means nobody's coming to crack your cell. Nobody's coming to do nothing. You stuck in there.
Listen, either you're going to be a man, you can't teach a man how to be the man. Either you're going to be strong or you're not. And that's why you get these prosecutors want to give you asshole for a time, but when they get in trouble, they can't do 6 months.
Nope.
They'll go hang themselves.
Yep, that's like that guy with my bro Isaac Wright, the prosecutor that was sending all those people to jail, setting them up.
He killed himself.
And when they caught him, his last words were, "I can't do 10 years."
Yeah.
And shot himself in the head.
Yeah.
On America's Most Wanted.
But they easily could give out that time. See, you know, the whole thing, people
That's
don't know.
scary. That's worse than anything that
People
we've
that
ever
don't know what's going on,
bro.
man. People don't know what's really going on. And, you know, they don't realize that, you know, you have to train yourself to be able to deal with anything. And it's hard because, you know, some people, they can't, if a mouse is in the house, they jumping on top of the chairs. You know, so my son would tell you, I shit like that, I just go and kill him. I don't, see, things that scares me kills people because I'm not easily scared. But I know for a fact that, you know, the jails today is like a hotel. So all these people that be like, oh, I can't do it. Man, that's just like a hotel, man. Going to the Shue, breakfast in bed. My uncle taught me that a long time ago. Going to the Shue's, breakfast in bed. You ain't got to get up for no counts or nothing. You chill. They say count, fuck you, I ain't getting up.
What you gonna do?
You just got to worry about them poison.
You already put me in jail.
You only get in the shower 3 times a week. You know, if that. So it's, you know, what can they possibly do next? And what they did was poison me. And that's why I love ICE so much, because when I was in Fort Dixon, I was real sick and they wasn't really taking care of me. I was defecating on myself and everything. The inmates that was cool was taking my stuff and making them wash it, but then the snitches went and told on that. So ICE came down there with a bunch of real brothers from all over, not just New York. And I was in the bed because I couldn't even go to the bathroom. I couldn't go to the shower, nothing, without no help. I was that sick.
I remember you told me, you said
So
I was
ICE
dying.
came-
I was dying.
I was dying. ICE came in there.
They were letting you.
ICE came in there and he told the captain and AW, whoever, he said, we're not going nowhere.
AW's assistant warden.
Yeah, so you take care of our brother. And they told me, fight, Shue, don't die. Fight. You did too much time. And that was it. So I talk to ICE all the time too. That's another
That's
one of my
what's
brothers.
up, man. Big shout out to ICE.
ICE is my man.
That's real.
He's a real dude. Always.
Because he could have been preoccupied reasonably, understandably, could have been preoccupied
They could have locked
with
him
his
up
own
for
situation.
inciting a riot. They could have locked all of them up.
Yeah.
And he said, we're not going nowhere till he gets the proper treatment. And, you know, that's my dude. You know, I love that nigga to death. And,
Yes,
you know,
sir. Got to.
Even Mackenzie when I came home. Mackenzie, Mac made sure, Mac, another shout out to him. He made sure, he said, the brothers is not taking care of you. He made brothers give up money so I could get the right treatment to get that poison out of me. So a shout out to Mac too. That's me and Mac go back. They thought he was my brother because we looked alike back in the day. I'm like 2 years older than him, but we used to play ball in Stevenson High School. He was always my close.
Oh, wow. You go back that far with Mac.
Yeah, me and Mac is like brothers, man.
Oh, that's dope.
Me and Mac is like brothers. You know, all these dudes that knew of me or hung out with me from back in the day, they family to me, you know. I speak to Big D every other day. This is
I tried to spoke to him last week.
I spoke to him yesterday, told him I was coming here.
He put me and Big Homie together.
Because I be letting him know, you know, what I do, because I don't want him to ever feel that stuff I'm saying we did talk about first, because he's involved in it. He said, man, Peter, go do you, man. You know, we out the game. We retired. Just get your shit where it's supposed to be and let the people know what we was about.
Right.
And they you know, because we wasn't taking pictures until we had a meeting, and I said, well, I'm doing the parties now. We have to take pictures to promote.
Right.
And all of them said, okay.
We just controlled our images, that's all.
Yeah, we had to change shit
controlled
up.
the cameras, the cameraman. I took every slide, them big-ass cameras they used to take pictures of us with.
But
I took the slide with all the negatives, everything.
When we was on jet planes, nobody knew about it. Flight private jets, we was doing all this stuff before everybody was doing it. But we didn't take pictures. We didn't take pictures of us and a whole bunch of money, a whole bunch of drugs, keys.
Like it was never going to happen again. I never took pictures like that. I didn't take pictures with guns and money. This was my reality. That'd be like taking a pic. Well, it's like what it is now. People taking pictures of every moment of their existence.
D ain't want to take no pictures. We took one picture, me, him, and MC Hammer. I still got that picture. And shout out to MC Hammer too. But we had that one picture we took, and that was it. We wasn't taking pictures. We ain't started taking, and then they still wasn't taking pictures when I was throwing the parties. I said I had to. So they was like, all right, you do you, because we don't really want to be in pictures. And now D don't care. Me and D take pictures. We take pictures now or whatever. But back then, that was his rule.
Yeah, that was the rule.
And even though I'm my own boss and he's his own boss, I backed that rule up because he was doing that before I came home, and that rule made sense.
Yes, sir.
A lot of the rules we had came from D.
That was a saving grace for me. D, not having pictures of me floating around, that was a saving grace. They didn't know what I looked like.
D was like, about the cars and everything and stuff, but D made a lot of the rules because he was there before us. He came home before everybody. So D is one of the most powerful brothers out there ever.
That's right.
And he just don't want the publicity. He don't want the movie type things. He don't want none of that. He don't even want to be on my documentary. But because he said, everybody knows, but you could tell it. But see, he needs to tell it because he knows some stuff that I forget.
Bro.
And I keep telling him, and he don't want to do it.
I don't know. I mean, we've had that conversation 1,000 times over the last 20 years, and it's really precarious. We're not so old that there aren't a lot of people still around who were there. A lot of people who were trying to stay out the way, whatever, still trying to stay out the way. You know what I mean? So you never know. He's had such stupid situations result from the most minute things that I could see why he would be like that. You know what I mean?